Back in August, we learned about Colorado's bumpy road to statehood. It took us 3 attempts. Before we became a state, though, in 1876, we were the Colorado Territory. Before that, we were a different territory. History Colorado gives us a look and explains why the federal government did not want to recognize us then either.
This week in Colorado history, the territory of Jefferson was founded.
No, we aren't talking about the county. The territory came well before that.
We were the Jefferson Territory from 1859 to 1861.
It was the precursor to the Colorado Territory.
That's right.
Which was the precursor to Colorado.
We could have been called Jefferson instead of Colorado.
The people living in the area created that unofficial government by pulling land from surrounding territories.
The Jefferson Territory was huge.
The goal was twofold: establish control over the land's gold fields and extinguish Native people's title to the land.
They couldn't legally form a territory or pull any of the gold out of the ground, create towns, or do any of these things on what was then Indian land.
For 2 years, the federal government didn't recognize the Jefferson Territory. Then, with the Civil War looming, the Union needed to extend control to the west.
And so in 1861, they created the Colorado Territory to extend federal government control out over Colorado.
So that territory was so much larger than the Colorado that we know today. It took from parts, of course, of modern Colorado, modern Utah, also Arizona, New Mexico, and other territories as well, including Nebraska at the time. And John, this was originally started also because the people who were living in this area were concerned that the territory seat, which used to be in Kansas, was too far away and wouldn't be concerned enough about the issues that people were dealing with here.
This is incredible. Like all these different territories and all this
Yeah.
history. Allie, great job breaking all that down for us.
You got it.
You got her.